Hello, I'm Lady Alice Hanning, as no doubt you know, and I'm here to talk about The Loop, which is this fabulous little reality TV show game that I'm in at the moment. So it's sort of a knockoff of The Circle, if you've heard of it. We all live in this apartment block, and we all talk to each other, but just by typing on Discord, not actually seeing face to face until the very end of it. Yeah, there's 5 sessions, 5 days. Each one's 4 hours long, and yeah, you talk and you vote and you have all sorts of interesting interactions, all via text. And then at the end, there's a big party where you get to see each other face to face on webcam. You might get to see people earlier. If someone leaves, then they leave a leaving video. And they can also go see someone, have a good chat with them. Sounded quite jolly. Sadly, I never got a chance, but oh well. And then also there was this lovely little group chat that we had with people who were doing another run of The Loop at the same time. So that was really good to touch base with them, get ideas for strategies and that sort of thing. Right, so in this video, I'm going to sort of run through what happened in my group, which was, I think we're on run 4, and I was in group 1. And yeah, I'll talk a bit about what happened, all the personalities and so on. Let you know how it went. It's been such good fun. So yeah, I suppose I'll start by introducing people. I'm Lady Alice Hanning, as you no doubt know. London socialite, international it girl, this generation's Tara Palmer Tomkinson or whatever, but obviously without the nose falling off. You might remember me, I appeared in a couple of Made in Chelsea's and so on. But yeah, it was wonderful to be invited. I assume they wanted the aristocratic thing for the American audience. They love a bit of Downton, don't they? Why am I on the show? Yeah, I suppose I should say that. So, I guess I've had a lot of fun doing the partying and doing the travelling and so on. I work for a drinks company, so I travel the world, talking booze about people. It's wonderful fun, and everyone who does it is so jolly. Have such good parties, got bars at work and stuff. Cray. But yeah, I guess I'm now sort of hitting a certain age. All my girls, they're all getting married and stuff, and I don't really have anything like that. So I was wondering, it'd be nice if I met a nice boy, man, I suppose. Yeah, and just to get to know people, meet interesting new people, type of people I don't meet normally. Everything's all a bit sort of confined to the regular social circles. But it's always fun to meet others from other backgrounds. Yeah, so I wasn't in it to win it. I'm not here for the money or whatever. Obviously, that's not really a problem. We're not filthy rich. My dad's no, but it's because of the Victorians and so on. Yeah, we're not filthy rich at all. Got a couple of farms, obviously not poor. But we sold the manor house when grandpapa died. Very sad, inheritance tax. Yeah, so that was me. Also in my lot we had Ashley. Like me, she lives in London. She's very much North London, born and bred there, rather than a country girl moved up here for the job. Yeah, she's a bit of a chav, but so funny, absolute laugh. Really loved Ashley. There was Muriel, little old lady, grandmama. She bakes cakes and stuff. She's from Australia. And there's Luna, lovely little Twitch girl. She's just streaming and stuff. Don't really know anything about that, but she was absolutely adorable. Really needed money, obviously, because she didn't come from landed wealth. Don't know how you get money if you don't. So yeah, she could really do with the prize. Also lives in London, so that's 3 of us living in London. Great. And then also we had 2 NBs that we sort of counted as the femmes between us. So there was Ninette, a darling little witch from Texas. She did tarot readings and stuff. It was amazing. She told me I got the Wheel of Fortune, the Devil, and the Hanged Man. It was all very exciting. She said it meant that I was a bit stuck in a rut and I needed to embrace new opportunities to break through, which yeah, that was why I was on the show. And then there was Quinn. Quinn also absolutely lovely. Yeah, they were both so good. They were great. And Quinn was a student in London again, more of the London arty posse. and Quinn's arty posse. The rest of us weren't arty particularly. But yeah, such a darling. Really, really, really liked Quinn. Quinn was in it because like their dad was in it, which is a bit strange. Like, seems like give you an unfair advantage or whatever. But yeah, their dad was Lloyd. Apparently, he had got into the show, and then he'd persuaded them to let Quinn come on the show as well. Other boys, we had Gabriel. He was a bit of a misogynist, you know, a bit unreconstituted. Not a terribly nice person. There was Ian, absolute darling. Little old man, like he has like a cute wife and a cute puppy. We've shared dog photos. Lance was even wealthier than my family, you know, proper American money rather than sort of British rundown aristocracy. And he was just like a terrible, like, internet troll 4chan person. Quite funny sometimes, but also said some terrible things. And you could never really quite tell which bits were like true bits and which bits were just trying to get a rise and make you annoyed for no reason. Very strange fella. Then we had Lex. Didn't really speak to Lex. Young lad. Got on well with Luna. But yeah, I didn't really speak to him myself. And Sugar. Like, Sugar. Sugar. I think, like, just wasn't that well educated. Like, American and, like, had a fiance and a baby. I was trying to raise money for them, so they could like start a new life, not living in her parents' house, which doesn't sound ideal. But yeah, he was like a bit. He just put his foot in things and like didn't really think through what he was saying. Like he says, "Oh, I'm being honest. I wouldn't want to lie," and so on. But like you know, like when Ninette said that like she was a witch, they were a witch, then Sugar was like, "Oh, scary, like voodoo." Which yeah, like you could have just said, "Oh, what's that? That sounds interesting. Tell me more, darling," rather than sort of deliberately antagonizing them. Oh well, that was Sugar. Yeah, so as I say, it was like 5 rounds. Very first one, it was just getting to know people, drinking games, a few secrets of my dirty past came out, that sort of thing. Something a bit shocking for the telly audiences. Then we did like got to know everyone, a few one-to-one conversations. Then we had to vote like who was our favourites. Like we had to put everyone in order from most favourite to least favourite. Intense. Yeah, so I put all the girls first, obviously. So I had Luna, bless, well, the girls and the envies, or the femmes first. So yeah, Luna first. Then I had Quinn, then Ninette and Ashla and Muriel, and then like the boys. Can't even remember what order. I just tend to regard them as like one thing, really. None of them were right for me. Bit of a pity, but oh well. There was like young or arseholes, basically. Then it was bed, bit tipsy. Came back the next day, bright and early in the morning, oh, very early, bright and early in the morning. Discovered like 2 of the boys were the influencers and that sort of thing. Sugar and Ian, and they weren't kicking people out. Normally, influencers kick people out, but in this first one, they weren't kicking people out. They had to vote for who they wanted to save in the next round, and they saved Gabriel because Sugar and Gabriel were like besties by now. But it was all interesting. What else happened? Muriel turned out to be Caleb, a boy, quite a good-looking boy. A surfing instructor from California. We got on quite well in the DMs. I don't know, something could happen there. I do have to travel out to California sometimes, and he offered to show me a beach bar, which sounds quite pleasant. All sorts of other interactions and that sort of thing. And then, like, it all kicked off. Like, someone sent Sugar a voodoo doll, and, like, everyone was like, "Oh my god, is this Ninette? Like, I know she's quite gross, but that seems a bit much." And then Ninette was like, "I only do like white magic, nothing to do with me." And so it's like someone trying to frame Ninette, and it all like completely blew up. We found out later it was Lance just being a troll. What a Lance. But yeah, all very exciting. So that was like the second day, and we voted again. So the girls realised like we're being a bit ganged up on by the boys. Now we've lost one of the girls to the other side. So we all voted for the girls first, and that was all good. Um, Day three rolls around. Yeah, the Femmes strike back. Go girl power. We're like we get Ninette and the Femmes strike back. We get Ninette and Luna like up as the two influencers. Brilliant. Have some lovely times as well. We also get introduced to like an out group at this point. So like people who are doing a different run at the same time. I got to like web chat with them and find out what was going on. One of them had like an elephant and stuff. It was all fascinating. And discuss tactics and that sort of thing and like compare voting. But anyway, back in our vote. Yeah, so the girls kicked Lloyd, like Quinn's dad, and kicked Caleb, that quite dishy surfing boy. I think they were a bit annoyed because like they knew Caleb was getting on well with me, and then Caleb like tried flirting with Luna, and I think that didn't go that well, particularly as Luna was quite flirting with Lex at the time, and yeah, bad move, Caleb. Still looking forward to seeing you there. Yeah, all very exciting. And they said, like, in Maine, they said, like, we only did this because we couldn't kick Gabriel, who is who we really wanted to kick, which was like, wow, girls, you are just like going for it. Very intense. Yeah, that was good fun though. But then, of course, I mean, Gabriel was like talking with all the boys and like trying to organise strategy and stuff. So we really needed to get the girls together. And unfortunately, at that point, we also lost Ashley. Ashley like broke probation and ended up like going back to jail in Britain. So that wasn't good. Yeah, so it was like four girls and fucking all the boys. Four femmes even, and two girls, two envies, and all the boys. And we were like, oh my gosh, like, oh dear, this isn't going well at all. And so all the girls got out our womanly charms. I chatted to this lovely chap, a teacher from Argentina. Not bad on the eyes either, especially now I've lost Caleb, needs to chat to someone. Mario, and persuaded him that we really needed to all get behind the net, and he was very enthusiastic about it. He's very keen on all this tactics and stuff, like I was telling us how to vote and stuff. We also had a Fens channel going on as well, where we were discussing his tactics behind his back. Sorry about that, Mario, you'll find out. But yeah, it was good fun, lots of plots and so on. Mario managed to like organise us all, so we got all those votings done again. And we're also joined by Asriel at this point. He was like a metal rock. I don't know. Like his face was all like face painted, and I think he did music that was just shouting. From Scotland though, so that's nice. You know, another Brit, but didn't really chat to him much. I think he was sort of quite a bros before hose type. And gay, so we couldn't like charm him. But it was worth a try. And then like yeah, later in the night there was loads of like anonymous messages being sent and like books about how we were catfishes and piece of paper with "I know who you are" slipped onto the door, which yeah, everyone knows I am. I'm Lady Alice Hanning. You know, have you not read a newspaper? I'm always in the fashion pages. Or like the society ones going, oh dear, Lady Alice Hanning throwing up outside a nightclub again, not my finest hour. But yeah, obviously you know who I are. That was that. Went to sleep again, a bit worried really. I was like, is the plan going to work? What happens if like I end up an influencer with one of the boys? Who do I persuade them to vote for? And yeah, I woke up in the middle of the night and just couldn't get back to sleep. I was just like going through scenarios, and I don't know, Mario infected me with all his numbers. No, it was terrible. Went back into the session. We didn't find out who were the influencers straight away. There was like loads of questions and it all got like quite deep. Like I asked, who do you think should win? So that I had a chance to push the net. And like other people were like asking for our crushes and all sorts. And then like all this drama came out. And yeah, there was like this complete bust up between like Sugar and Ninette. Sugar saying like you always have to be truthful and just be true to yourself, and Ninette being yeah, but you don't need to be such a bitch. And Luna saying and yeah, Nanette as well. And yeah, they were talking about like time he'd said like no homo and like the stuff he'd said about Nanette, about them being a witch. And yeah, it was very intense, very intense. And then like the influences finally get announced, and it is like Nanette and Luna again. So bravo, bravo, femmes. Plots all came together. Well done, Mario, guiding us. And they had to kick 3 boys. So they came back and they like just went down the list of the worst boys. So they were like, Gabriel, you're terrible. Sugar, like maybe your heart's in the right place, but you're still pretty terrible. Lance, like we actually quite like you, but you are terrible. And so yeah, that was them 3 gone, and so it was like, oh my god, like almost everyone who was still there was someone who was in our secret plot at this point. Which, I mean, really, the secret plot was a bit like over because it was the whole group. But yeah, there was then like, I don't know, Mario had been like pushing for me to be second. I think because Mario didn't want Luna to win over Ninette. Because I persuaded him so hard to vote Ninette and to push Ninette to win. Yeah, Ninette like needs to get away from her home. Like their family just didn't understand them, and like they really needed to break free, and really needed obviously money to do that. And having said all this stuff on national television, can't really go back down Texas way with her quite boring, quite old-fashioned family. So yeah, it really does need the money, as long as they're a real person, not a catfish. Yeah, so we all like had some discussions, and there was a new lady. Oh, she was lovely, Karen. She was like an accountant from like Sweden or Norway, somewhere Scandinavia. Really got on with her. She was, like me, has had a few boys in her past and that sort of thing, is in a slightly more advanced stage. But yeah, really got on with her. Such good fun. Giggled quite a bit. And also, like, I helped her get up to speed with what was going on with everything. And then, yeah, it was time for our final voting. At one point, Mario was like pushing an idea where everyone should vote for me to win, and then I divide the money up between Ninette, who deserves it most, and Ian, who deserves some because I think he lost his money in a scam, and Mario for looking after his young kid and so on. But no idea what's really happened. I voted Nanette first and Luna second. I think that's what everyone else is going to have done. But I'm now like anxiously waiting. We are literally minutes before we go into the final gala. So everything so far has been typey here, apart from chatting to my out group, which we had a video chat. I haven't like had any one-to-ones. No one's come to visit me after leaving. I haven't had to leave. Recorded a couple of conversations just in case I did have to leave. But yeah, this is it. Like, I get to meet people face to face. Check that Nanette's not a catfish. There was a whole load of confusion about like if Lex and Luna are now dating, aren't now dating. Is one of them a catfish? Are they lying? Who knows? That should be exciting. Looking forward to what happens. Yeah, and might have arranged to go for coffee with Mario afterwards. Yeah, I don't know. Don't see how it could work. Him living in Argentina and me living in London and so on. But who knows? He's not bad on the eyes, and he's got a good heart in a good place. He's been doing nice things for the people I care about. I suspect possibly partly to get into my good books, and I can't deny it's maybe worked. Who knows? We'll find out. Looking forward to the gala. Looking forward to speaking to you after. Ta-ra, babies. So, just got back from the gala, but before we talk about that, I realised that I forgot to mention in my earlier video, like, the conclusion of the whole, like, Lloyd Quinn thing, which was huge. So, like, what happened was, like, so Lloyd was Quinn's dad, occasionally, like, got the wrong pronouns for poor Quinn, but yeah, like, they were getting on well. But they'd both ended up in, like, the LGBT chat, and, like, Quinn was like, not sure my dad's here, it's a bit weird. But like then after Lloyd was voted out by the influencers, Quinn then had a visit from Lloyd, and like Lloyd came out to his kids, like so emotional, like Quinn afterwards. Wow, what a way to find out, and then like to be away from your dad for like the next 3 days as like more of this cray show went on. Sorry, a little bit tipsy. Had a wonderful time at the gala. So yes, the gala. First of all of the people who'd been kicked out came and chatted to us a bit. So we heard more about like what had happened with Lloyd and Quinn from Lloyd's side of things. Then we heard from all like the terrible boys that got voted off. And then they started going down through the numbers. They start at the bottom. Started with Asriel, heavy metal chap. Then we had Mario, surprisingly low, considering like Mario was the person who led the whole like tactical voting thing. But I think like some of the femmes didn't really trust Mario. Turns out for good reason. Mario was in our chat and also in the boys' chat doing like tactics, but then like totally backstabbed the boys in order to do our vote. But then it was Mario who'd been doing all of those like anonymous notes and like cray messages and all the stuff throwing up doubt between Lex and Luna in order to make sure that Nanette won, which was wow, very exciting, very dramatic, very excited about that. Not entirely sure that was the right thing to be doing, Mario, but Mario did say maybe we'll still be on for the coffee thing, so I'll have a chat to him then. We'll see where things go from there. Apparently quite keen to get out of Argentina and do like more stuff in telly and so on, and that was why he was causing all this drama. Anyway, Mario. Then Karen, lovely Karen. Did so well in only like a day to manage to beat two people who've been quite active and knew lots of people. Then Ian, the old chap who needed the money like for his I don't know, he got scammed out of money or something. Then Quinn, lovely Quinn, the arty student, whose dad was Lloyd, etc. And so I was like, oh wow, it's like only three of us left now. Me and the normal two influencers. This is doing quite well. Well done, Lady A, as always. Risen up from like being 7th to 5th to 3rd to we'll find out. And yeah, then it was Luna. Luna came in 3rd. Yeah, and so far no one's been catfish. Luna wasn't a catfish. Luna and Lex, like, they seem to be in a good place. I think, like, things might happen there. Very excited. Big fan of the whole Lunex. That's the hashtag. And so then it was, drum roll. Is it going to be Lady A or is it going to be Nanette? Like, is Nanette going to be a catfish? If I get it, then as long as Nanette's not a catfish, Nanette can have the money. But if Nanette gets it and is a catfish, oh, what's going to happen? It was me as number 2. So I came and I chatted and that sort of thing, and lovely to see everyone, chat face to face. They all seem to have a good time, apart from the boys, but who cares? As I say, Mario and me, yeah, something might happen there. We'll find out. And so that was it. Then, like, just number 1 left. Nanette. Is Nanette going to be, like, a catfish? Is Nanette actually needing to break out and, like, start life and use all the money? Is Nanette going to share the money? Give some to Ian? Give some to Sugar for Sugar's card? And lovely fiancée Maria. Nanette is not a catfish. I think there might have been some like little bits of deception, not necessarily quite all the stuff with the family, but really need to get away from abusive boyfriend, who, bless them, they broke up with on live TV. We all like did a great big fuck you Marcos. It was hilarious. What a way to end the whole thing. So yeah, Lunex definitely going ahead. Quinnette, I think might be a bit early days, giving Nanette like some time to recover and that sort of thing. Nanette sounds like she like they've got a good place to move to and so on. Now they've got this money. The troll, Lance, like bless them. He's going to give money to like help Nanette set up, help Sugar set up. And I think, can't remember if he's helping Ian or if Nanette's helping Ian. Because, yeah, Nanette is willing to share the cash. They're going to use like some of themselves, but then like they're going to set up some, possibly in some sort of fund or something, to help like all like kids who are going through difficult times like that and need like a start in life. Um, some to help Ian, who's also having help from like lots of members of the public who are like lawyers and stuff, talking to Ian and like going to help him try to get that money back. Um, Hugest drama was Nanette offered like a big pile of money um, for Sugar's baby, but to go into a trust fund, not for Sugar to have access to it, but for the kid. And then Sugar was like, fuck you, I don't take money from two-faced bitches. Which, oh my god, how two-faced is that? Because, like, Sugar's always been like, I really need this money, and is now like saying, I don't want money for my child's future. Like, what a bastard. Um, but yeah, it was full of drama, full of excitement, amazing to see everyone. Yeah, everyone was much as they were expected to be. Gabriel and Sugar were every bit as we imagined. Bit sad. It's now all over. I think I've made some real friends. I hope I get to keep in touch with them. Hope that we get the Fem 25 party together down London way. Um, who knows how things will go with Mario for coffee soon, and maybe also going out to California to meet up with Caleb. Keep you all posted on how that goes. Well, so for the last time, I guess it's like, ta girls. See you all soon.